Have you ever faced a choice so painful that your heart told you one thing, but the world demanded another? This is the story of a young man named Isamu, a story about love, sacrifice, and the wisdom of our elders. And within it lies a lesson powerful enough to change the way we see life, family, and leadership. In a quiet mountain village, Isamu lived with his elderly mother. Their house was small, their land barely enough to survive, but their hearts were full. Each day, they worked side by side, finding joy in the simplest things. Isamu often said, "Mother, as long as I have you, I am rich." But one day, their peace was shattered. A cruel decree spread across the land. The emperor had ordered that all elderly people be executed. He believed they were useless, a burden dragging the kingdom down. Fear swept through the villages. People whispered in despair, but no one dared to resist. For Isamu, this wasn't just a law, it was a death sentence for the person he loved most. His mother was more than family. She was his guide, his teacher, his strength. To surrender her would be to betray everything he believed in. His heart gave him only one answer: protect her at all costs. The very next morning, before the soldiers could arrive, Isamu lifted his frail mother onto his back and began the long climb up the mountain. The path was steep, rocky, and merciless. His legs trembled, his back burned with pain, but his determination was stronger than his suffering. Step by step, he carried not just his mother, but his love, his duty, his very soul. What Isamu didn't know was that as he climbed, his mother was silently snapping branches and dropping them behind them. Her hands grew scratched and bloody, but she kept going. She feared that her son, blinded by exhaustion, might lose his way back home. Even in her weakness, even in her fear, her only thought was for him. Finally, at dusk, they reached an abandoned hut hidden in the forest. Isamu laid down leaves for her to rest and whispered goodbye, though his heart shattered with each word.
"My son, follow the branches I left behind. They will guide you home."
Isamu froze, realizing the pain in her hands, the scratches, the sacrifice. Even as he carried her to safety, she had been protecting him. Overwhelmed, he wept. That night, alone on the path back, he followed her trail of broken branches, each one a reminder of her love. From that day on, Isamu lived a double life. By day, he worked in the fields pretending to obey the emperor's orders. By night, he climbed the mountain, bringing food, water, and comfort to his mother. He risked discovery at every step, but his devotion was unshakable. Weeks passed. Then one day the emperor issued another decree. Every villager was commanded to produce a rope made of ashes. An impossible task. Despair spread across the kingdom. People tried, people failed, and hope crumbled. But when Isamu told his mother, she smiled with quiet wisdom. "My son," she said, "take straw and weave it into a rope. Lay it on a flat stone and burn it slowly on a night with no wind. The straw will disappear, but the ashes will hold its shape." Isamu followed her instructions carefully. The next morning, he carried the delicate ash rope to the emperor's court. When the emperor's men tested it, it was perfect. No one could believe it. The emperor summoned Isamu immediately. "How did you achieve what others could not?" the emperor demanded. Isamu could have lied. He could have taken the credit.
But his heart chose honesty. He bowed deeply and confessed, "It was my mother. I hid her from your decree. It was her wisdom that solved this riddle."
The court fell silent. Everyone braced for the emperor's wrath. But instead of anger, the emperor's eyes softened. For the first time, he saw what he had been blind to. The elderly were not burdens. They were treasures of wisdom. the keepers of knowledge that kept the kingdom alive. He stood and declared,
Isamu, your love for your mother is greater than your fear of me. You have shown me what true strength looks like. From this day forward, the elderly shall no longer be condemned. They shall be honored, cherished, and cared for as the guiding lights of this kingdom.
The cruel law was abolished. A new era of compassion began. And all of it was because one son refused to betray his mother, and one mother never stopped guiding her child. So what can we learn from Isamu's story? 3 timeless lessons stand out. First, love and sacrifice are stronger than fear. Isamu risked his life daily, but it was his devotion that changed the future. Second, wisdom is a treasure. The elderly are not a burden. They are living libraries. Their experience holds solutions no book can offer. And third, true change begins with one person's courage. When you dare to do what's right, no matter the cost, you inspire others, even leaders, to transform. Think about it. Isamu wasn't rich, powerful, or influential. He was just a son who chose love over fear. And that choice reshaped a kingdom. And that is why his story matters to us today. Because every one of us will face moments where we must choose between fear and love, between obedience and courage, between silence and truth. When that moment comes, remember Isamu. Remember his mother's scratched hands, her trail of broken branches, her wisdom that saved a kingdom. Let that memory remind you that no act of love is ever wasted. So honor your parents, cherish their sacrifices, listen to their wisdom, because sometimes the greatest strength isn't found in armies or power. It's found in the quiet love of a parent and the courage of a child who refuses to let go. If this story inspired you, share it with someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful lessons every week. Together, let's keep fueling the fire to win.